Okay, first of all, thanks a lot, you guys, for all coming. I'm super excited about today. It should be a good day. Get rid of some of this granola here. So we're gonna be just getting started right now. So we might have one or two rolling in the next few minutes, but we're gonna get rolling. It's gonna be a really good day. Is everybody connected to the internet? First of all, before we get started. Raise your hand if you're not connected or if you're having an issue getting connected. Good to go there? Perfect. Now that you're connected, let's go ahead and just not be online and searching the internet and stuff like that. So you're connected, but to be honest, we don't really need to even be online for a little while. So you can either close your monitor or just the best thing to do would be just to turn your screen blank or close your screen. But we're going to get online in a little bit here, but we're going to go over some super important stuff first. First of all, I want to introduce my team. I'm really excited about this because we got Ralph Burns that came over from Cape Cod, which is right here. Some of you guys probably recognize Ralph. He's been on some webinars with me. Ralph is really the managing partner of Dominate Web Media, the agency side of the business, and lots of other stuff as we move forward. And we've got Michael and Titus, who came over from LA and the Netherlands. So Titus, just go ahead and stand up in the back. Titus D, he's one of our ninja ad manager, just extraordinaires. He is from Amsterdam. And then we've got Michael, where's he at? There he is. Michael, and he lives in LA. And Michael Macaro. And I got Michael, I always get those last names mixed up because that's his other partner. But so he came in from LA, and Shanette, all you guys probably met, she's out in the back. So she came in from Charlotte and kind of the Virginia area too, which is where she is now, but she's from Charlotte. So she's been an amazing asset to our team. And so other than that, I'm excited because this is going to be a workshop. So the reason I introduced my team is because they're going to be really involved today. As we get into more of the advanced stuff and a lot of the stuff that can kind of get people hung up, we're going to be doing teaching and doing, and these guys are going to be walking around the room, and so am I, to make sure that we don't get stuck and we can implement. So the whole goal of today is not just to teach and overwhelm you with information, which if you guys have been following me for a while, you probably know that I have a tendency to love to teach as much as I can and give you lots of information. I don't do that, right? So the goal here, just so you know, Ralph's main goal is to use a leash and just to bring me back and not to overteach and to get you guys implemented. Because the goal,
like the third base coach in baseball, giving signs,
stay or go. So,
which, by the way, let me just add, you are going to get fed, which is a good thing. Lunch is part of the agenda. It's going to be a working lunch though, so they're going to bring that stuff in around 12 noon. So some people were saying, it's an awfully long time to go without food. So we'll have food in the back and just get up, whenever you bathroom breaks, that sort of thing. We'll have other breaks in here as well. And even though the agenda looks very specific, it's very fluid. And I don't think we're going to stay on schedule. But we do have to be out of here about 5 o'clock. I think the Kaplenskis are getting married here tonight. So I didn't come in, so we don't want to interrupt their wedding. So pressure's on for us to stay.
So those of you that do want to do the dinner tonight, throughout the day, afternoon, you can let Shanette know so we kind of get a count. We're going to want to get a count. We've got reservations. I sent an email out. Some of you hopefully might have got it. Some of you might not have. We're going to Sullivan's Steakhouse tonight. We got 7 o'clock reservations, so we'll have some time, but we'll probably end up kind of mingling out here in the foyer for a little bit, and then we'll meet down at the lobby bar, maybe have a drink, and then head over there. It's walking distance. So those of you that can go, please let us know so we get a count. We've got reservations. So in case we need to add a few more.
So if we go over, which we probably will, but the conversation will continue tonight at dinner, and you're all welcome to come.
Yeah. So, yep. And dinner is not an additional fee, but it's not actually paid for. So, as like lunch is today, just so you guys know. So,
unless we get Keith really drunk and which
has a tendency to have happen. So, all right. So let's get right into it. All right, this number right here is the current world population, 7.2 billion people in the entire planet, okay? That's a big number. This is a live number that's ticking every single day. And the crazy thing is that this chart right here is Q3 2008 all the way up to Q3 2014, okay? Facebook active users worldwide is around 1.3 billion people, okay? So you've got 1.3 billion active users on Facebook, which is almost 1/5, okay? That's almost 20% of that 7.2 billion people I just looked at. That's a lot of people, okay? We're talking third world countries all over the world. You guys have probably heard these numbers a lot, but if you sit back and you really think about the amount of active users on Facebook, this is not a fad, okay? This is a world-changing platform. Just here's an example of actually this slide right here. Facebook doesn't want to be cool. It wants to be, it got moved over a little bit. It wants to be electricity. Okay, this is Mark Zuckerberg. This is his mission. So he was just talking about this in a recent, in several recent articles, recent interviews. They don't want to be cool. Okay, Facebook wants to basically replace the telephone. Okay, they want to be a commodity. They don't want to be the next Snapchat, Instagram. They don't care. And if you think about it, show of hands of anybody who has connected to somebody that they grew up with, or they used to live close to, that they don't live near anymore. Show of hands, using Facebook. Okay, probably everybody in the room. How about a show of hands for anybody that is a part of a private Facebook group? Okay, not a Facebook page, but a group. Okay, that's Facebook. Okay, it's like the telephone. So people are wondering, is Facebook going to be around? Is it going to be cool? The teenagers aren't on there. Who cares? Okay, your customers are on there. They might not be going on there to try to, pick up dates and stuff like that, but that's how people stay relevant. That's how people connect. It's so much easier to send a Facebook message to somebody than it is an email these days. It's just easier to find people. So their goal and their focus is to be the communication platform, and that's what they're doing. And so that's why it kind of gets us really, really excited. But at the same time, one of my favorite quotes is, "With great power comes great responsibility." Okay, Uncle Ben from Spider-Man, and it kind of is true. And the thing is the reason why I think about this is because over the past couple years, as we've worked as an agency and working with different clients, and really starting to figure out, why we're doing what we're doing, we've found and the abilities of what we can do. We can basically place our message or our client's message out in front of these 1.2 billion people instantly. And it's crazy, the targeting capabilities, once you truly understand it, and once you truly understand how to put that message out there. The question is what kind of message are you putting out there? What do you want to put out there? What kind of people do you want to impact? And so for us, we've kind of, play. There we go. For us, so here's my quote: "With great power comes great responsibility." And the other thing is I want to talk about is how my why has changed. And this all kind of relates to getting that message out and what kind of message you're putting out there. So when I first really started digging into becoming an entrepreneur and leaving the airline industry and starting my own local businesses out in Seattle, and then moving to the online space, the reason I wanted to be an entrepreneur was because I wanted to have time freedom. I wanted to be able to do the things I wanted to do. I wanted to be able to have the things I wanted to have. It was about freedom. It was about having toys and things like that. It wasn't super about the money, but a little bit it was. But over the past couple years, and especially the last year, that has changed. My why is completely different. The reason why we're having the reason I did this is because we're having a team retreat tomorrow. Our team that we flew in from all over the world, we're having a team retreat to figure out what their goals and aspirations are, how we can take things to the next level. But what I mean is it's for me, it's more about how we can truly help people. Because I feel like we're on this earth for one reason. It's two reasons. One is to grow as an individual person throughout your life, and two is to how many people you can make a good impact for. And I feel like that's why we're here. And so we've actually changed our whole mission statement, and we're going to build this out tomorrow and finalize things. And I'll give you guys a little bit of a scope on what we're doing, and then you can kind of think about how you want to use this for your business and how you can kind of use Facebook to really take your mission statement and your why to the next level. But what we decided is, instead of having we actually are creating a page on our website that says clients who we don't work with, okay? So our manifesto, a big core part of our manifesto is clients who we don't want to work with, okay? And we're going to dial these in tomorrow. This is just a rough draft, but think about your business, customers that you do want to work with, but what about those customers or clients that you don't want to work with? Because the reason why we are doing this, because we know clients that work with us, that we manage campaigns for, we can get their message out and we can affect people. So if they have a crap product, we don't want to take them on as a client because it makes a big difference. So for example, companies who don't have a product that improves people's lives, companies who aren't willing to put the extra effort in to adjust or create things needed for success, okay, who just depend on us. Companies who only have one main mission, and that's profit. And I think, Ralph, you and I were kind of talking about this last night in the last few weeks. And it's, I guess once you really start to become successful, and I know a lot of people that are really, really successful, and you get to that point where it's not about money anymore. It's about what you can do and how you can make a difference. So if your business, your product or service, like think about what you truly want to do. So if you want,
just think about that. What you're going to learn today, and a lot of you guys already have experience online doing Facebook ads. Some of you are brand new, some of you have been doing it for a while and are here to increase your effectiveness. But the big question is because of the Facebook network and how huge it is. Just think about this for a second. There's 7.1 whatever billion people on the planet. 1/5 of them, 1/5 of the planet, you can affect on Facebook. They are active users, they're on there. Yeah, there's 1.8 billion users, it's 1.3 billion active users. So the real question is, you've got a tremendous amount of power. And we're going to teach you that power today. But I think what's really important is for everyone, before we even start on the tactical stuff, is to think about what are you going to do with this newfound power that you have? And what kind of force are you going to be, whether it's selling your service, your product, or maybe you're a consultant looking to get clients? What's your why? Why are you here today? Because what we're going to teach you here is really powerful stuff. I mean, there's never been a platform like this, ever. It's not a fad. It continues to grow. Everyone says, the kids are going to Snapchat and all this other sort of stuff. No, Facebook is still the network, and it's a larger network than that. Really, it's a form of communication. And you now have the ability, just like big advertisers did years ago, the kind of incredible data that's accessed through the Facebook ad platform, to affect and influence billions of people. So that comes to our question.
Yeah, what is your why? Let's take, if you guys want, if we can take 2 minutes or so to put down, if you want, you can kind of start out with who you do want to work with, who you don't want to work with, and then what's your true reason? Not get more customers, make more money, but what is your...
Who's your ideal client? If you're a business, who's your ideal client? Who's that person you want to attract with your message? And why?
Okay, so let's go ahead and take 2 minutes to do it right now. So let's grab a piece of paper, and we're going to get kind of deep a little bit here because this is important, okay? So I want everybody to, what we're going to do is we're going to take a 2 minutes or so, write down your true why. What you're going to do once we dominate this stuff, once you get through today, once you take action, okay? Like I said, this is a workshop. You guys are going to come in here, and you're going to either, we're going to help you set up your lead magnets, your campaigns, your targeting, everything. If you've already been running Facebook ads, we're going to help you improve this whole process. You're going to be ready to rock and roll after today. So I want to know why you're going to be doing this, okay? It could be product related, what kind of the benefits of your product do. It's okay to write that down to kind of get your brain going. For me, it's also, I started talking about, purpose and a mission to really, help people. I've got a 6.5-year-old boy. His name's Kyler. I spend a ton of time with. So I'll work my butt off during the day and at night, and I'll unplug and do a lot of stuff with him. But my goal with him is to teach him why it's good to be good to other kids, why he wants to be nice. Not because he should be nice like we got taught. It's because when you're put good energy out, when you're nice to other people, it actually does come back to you. There's a lot of reasons, and he'll be happier. He'll be able to do more fun things because other people are nice to him. Those types of things. So the more we can make our whole mission of our company around that, we only work with people that have a good, powerful mission. We don't work with people that sell crap. We can teach, if you have kids, that you grow up, you can do anything you want. Do something that's cool, that you think is fun, that you can enjoy, but you can also maybe do something good. So yeah, not sure if I like this song here. Need more time? Good to go? So doesn't have to be perfect, but how about we'd like to pick two or three people to, if you would, who would mind to share kind of why they want to take things to the next level, why they want to dominate Facebook in 2015. Okay, let's see here. Go ahead, David.
I want to help business owners have a much better return on their marketing dollars, so that way they can have a better peace of mind and more time with their family, more time to be able to work on their business on it, and more time with their, time to do vacations and have a much better lifestyle.
Cool. So you want to help business owners kind of take their business to the next level, so they can have more time and do the things they want to do that are important to them personally. So they're not so focused in their business. They're not.
Family and be able to have their business.
Okay. Sweet. Cool. Anybody else? How about
I'll share.
Rachel?
So we believe that everybody has something valuable to share with the world, and we make it easy for you to capture your knowledge and teach others.
Okay, very cool, very cool. So Rachel is an expert at tons of things, but one of those is she helps people put on events like this. She helps people build membership sites, so in platforms, so they can actually get their knowledge and spread that. So we love working with people like that because it's awesome. We've got clients like that. It's exciting. So how about back at this table? Anybody over here? Over here? Anybody else? One more. Come on, come on.
Not calling names right now. No.
Okay. Okay, cool. Let's see here. No worries. Okay, no worries. Let's get rolling here.
All right, so, but think about that during this whole time that you're here. You don't have to say it publicly. We appreciate the two guys that did that, but it's really the reason why we're here, is to help you achieve that. Yeah, make more money, get more clients, help. Well, who doesn't want to make money? I mean, obviously the idea is to make money, but the point is there's something behind that, and it's a little bit more
Yeah.
than just that unto itself.
If you can make more money and you can get a Facebook campaign that's positive ROI, obviously, guess what you can do? You can reach more people, right? And you can use that momentum to scale. So that's what we want to get you guys to be able to do. That's the goal. That's why you have to understand how to sell on Facebook and how not to sell on Facebook. So has anybody ever been to an event like this or a party and met that guy or that girl where you shake their hands? Hey, how you doing? My name's John. 30 seconds later, he's pitching you his insurance company or his network marketing company or his consulting or whatever it is. Or a minute later, nobody likes that guy, right? Well, the first thing you want to do is turn around, walk away, or kind of nudge him out the door, right? The problem is there's a lot of people like that, and there's a lot of people doing that on Facebook, okay? However, the crazy thing is nobody likes that guy that tries to sell you at a party or a coffee shop immediately. However, some of the biggest deals, some of the biggest sales that are made in tons of different companies are made as a result of two people meeting at a party or an event, right? So what if the same guy, you shook his hand, hey, my name's John, and then after you're having a conversation, I'm John, and I'm talking to Alex here, we meet, and Alex is like, hey, what do you do? Well, I'm a financial planner. What do you do? I ask Alex, he tells me what he does, and then we're kind of talking a little bit, and then maybe he tells me he's got a couple kids, and then I tell him, hey, actually, did you know that there's actually a tax loophole that you can save all this money, and then by the time they're 18, you can basically pay for half their college with this really, really cool loophole. Go to this website and check it out. It's cool. By the way, what are your kids into? Okay, and then change the subject, and you're giving them some value, right? You meet this guy. Guess what? Alex leaves the party. He might be driving home with his wife. Hey, I met this really cool guy named John, and he gave me a great tip. We might be able to actually pay for our kids' tuition now. And so they go home, and that's that. Well, the next day, Alex now is on his commute to work, and he drives by and he sees a billboard with Jean up on the billboard with a call to action, go to this website or call this number for your free report on how to actually get your kids into college, okay? Or how to actually retire by the time you're 65, something like that. If you drive by and you see that billboard and you're like, oh, wow, that's the guy I met last night that gave me that great tip. I want to go check it out. Do you think you're going to go check that out and what do you think the chances are that you're going to go and you're going to opt in or you're going to call? And then if you do opt in or you do call or you do schedule an appointment, what do you think the chances are that you're going to actually show up for that appointment? Pretty high, right? Compared to if you just would have saw that billboard. Okay, that's Facebook, basically. That's it. So that's the whole foundation behind this 9-step process that we're going to talk about throughout today that I talk about a lot, and why you need to engineer a process. You always have to be thinking about how can I instantly build trust, build value, and then have really awesome systems to funnel those people down into my sales process, okay? You need a lot of touches, you guys. There's a great stat that I got from Jay Baer from the book Youtility, Youtility. Okay, it's kind of focused on bigger brands, but there's some great insight in that book. And 2009, the average consumer consumed 2.3 pieces of content before making a purchasing decision. The next year, 2010, that number doubled to 5.4. Okay, 5.4 pieces of content they need to consume before making a purchasing decision. 2011, that number doubled again to 10.4. So the average consumer back in 2011 consumes 10.4 pieces of content before making a purchasing decision. That's 3 years ago, 4 years ago, in a couple months, in a month or so, right? Do you want to know why? Anybody know why that is? Why that number has doubled every year and it's probably up to around 15 now? Any ideas? Trust? Yeah. So good. Yep. Good idea.
Lots of information overload, lots of options.
Yep. That's basically the reason why, and I'll give you another reason on top of that. And basically, it's this right here. Okay. Mobile devices. Everybody has information at their fingertips, and now as we move into this phablet whole world of iPhone 6s and Androids, where they've got these phones that are like tablets. Everybody has information at their fingertips, so they can always just look stuff up. So people don't like to buy right away. They don't. That's why traditional brand advertising for big brands does work. It absolutely works for companies like Pepsi and 7-Up and Nike, okay? But guess what? It costs them hundreds of millions of dollars a year in advertising to make that work. But in Facebook, what we want to do is we want to build trust and then move them down into that funnel using direct response marketing, but also always building trust. So we're going to be talking about that all today. But the reason I want to talk about this is because everybody, a lot of times, they'll go to a seminar or they'll watch a training and they'll think they have to do it that way. They'll see a funnel like the whole lead magnet tripwire funnel that Digital Marketer talks about. That's amazing for most businesses, but some businesses that doesn't work. So once you really understand that how to connect with people, use Facebook as that blind date, and then build value, and then move them down to your sales funnel, okay? I promise you we're going to get into lots more stuff today. I just wanted to kind of drive that home as much as possible. It's important. So here is the 9-step Facebook marketing plan. This is really the blueprint to creating a profitable Facebook ad campaign, a scalable Facebook ad campaign that we use in dozens of different industries with dozens of different clients over the last few years. Okay, we've spent several $1 million on Facebook ads. We've generated over 200,000 leads and subscribers with our clients and several $1 million in sales and profit. Okay, this is the basic model that we use, and we're going to basically cover this throughout today. The top half in the morning, the bottom half in the afternoon. That's today. Okay, so quick overview. Some of you, I sent a video to you. Some of you guys might have watched a quick little overview. I'll give you a 5-minute overview of the 9-step process. Basically, step 1 is the market research phase, which we're going to get into in a second. Okay. Step 2 is a light campaign, getting fans. And this is, out of all the steps, this is the one that probably isn't absolutely required, but it's a great way to start to get momentum and to get people to raise their hand and segment them into your almost brand. And their fans are much cheaper to advertise to. You get higher conversions, and it also gives you more social proof with your ads. You get more friends of fans that when people see your ad, they're going to have a better chance of saying, Joe also likes your page. So it's important, okay? But it's not critical. We're not going to spend much time on that today. Step 3 is creating your lead magnet or your offer, okay? Your hook, okay? This is your indoctrination. This is your, basically, in most cases with most of your ads, this is going to be the first impression that you put in front of somebody, if it's a cold visitor, or even if it's somebody who already knows who you are. But this is important. This, number 3, number 7, those are the 2 most important steps. Lead magnet, offer, and then targeting. Okay, we're going to spend the most time on those 2 today, and we're also going to spend some really good time on step 9, retargeting. Molly Pittman's coming in from Digital Marketer. Ryan Dice is traffic manager. We're going to be covering that right after lunch. It's going to be fun. So step 3, lead magnet. Get that right. I can't tell you how many clients that we have. The lead magnet, we just tweak it a little bit and it changes the game. Okay. The next step is your thank you page, or it's basically step 2. So you might have step 1 here as the, does it have a razor? Oh, no, that's not it. Looking for a laser, but maybe not. So step 4 is going to be that next step. So it could be the thank you page. It could be a sales page. It could be a register for a free demo or something like that. It's the next step, and it's important because step 4 is where you're going to put critical pixels, like conversion pixels, so you can track how many people that clicked on your ad actually opted in, or how many people clicked on your ad and actually bought a product. You're also going to put your critical retargeting and website custom audience pixels, so you can start placing ads to people that have already opted in or already bought, or maybe you're placing ads in front of people that haven't yet bought but have already opted in. Those types of things, we'll get way more into that later, but it's an important page. Step 5 now is to create your Facebook post, because the majority of your Facebook spend is going to be, it's going to look like an organic Facebook post that's in that news feed. So it looks like something that your friend would post talking about their birthday or a picture of their dog. But guess what? It's going to be something about your brand or product or service. And it's going to look organic. We call that native advertising. Now, we do also spend a good amount of our budget on right column or sidebar ads. That's more display advertising, okay? But the majority, how you're going to get started quickest and get the fastest results is focusing on this organic newsfeed ads. Okay, so you're going to create your post, then you're going to, guess what? You're going to create an ad around that post, you're going to amplify that, and then you're going to put that post in front of your exact ideal target audience, and you're going to take your business to the next level. This is key, okay? We're going to show you some really advanced strategies on how to target the best way, and some stuff that we've really learned over the past couple months on targeting, you guys, and bidding. Some stuff that I was teaching 3 or 4 months ago that we don't do now. We do differently when it comes to audience sizes, when it comes to bidding. A lot of stuff that you guys are going to be, I promise you, nobody's teaching some of this stuff at all. So first of all, pat yourselves on the back for coming here, because I think if you take action, it's going to be worth it. So target audience. Steps 8 and 9 kind of work together, and Molly Pittman's going to be talking about a lot of this stuff too today. But this is where we really take things to the next level, okay? This is where you, remember earlier when I was talking about the statistics, okay? 10.4 times people need to consume 10.4 pieces of content before making a purchasing decision. This is why you're going to start amplifying content, this credibility content, proof content, testimonials, stuff like that, giving them more touches. They might not have to opt in. It might just be a blog post, but guess what? We don't care, because we know you have your website custom audience pixel placed on your website. So everybody that goes to that piece of content gets added to your Facebook audience list. It's an asset. It's like an email list almost. It's really powerful. So you're creating goodwill when you do this. They don't have to opt in when you're amplifying content. You're creating goodwill. It's like meeting the guy at the party that gave you that tip without anything in exchange. He didn't even ask you for his business card. All he did was give you a tip and send you to a great resource. That's what amplifying content is. And then how do we monetize that? With step 9, retargeting and website custom audiences. Guess what? The next day after they read that piece of content or watch that really cool video, now they might see an ad talking about your webinar that they want them to register for. So when they come to your webinar landing page or your lead magnet, your checklist or something like that, they're a little bit warmed up. They're like, oh yeah, that's the guy that gave me that great tip of that article that I read or that video that I watched yesterday on his blog. I'll opt in. I'll register for the webinar. I'll show up for the webinar because you've already created some value. So we're always doing this stuff. It's just you're systematizing it. You're focusing on the funnel with the first 4 steps, okay? Getting a good lead magnet, which we're going to cover a ton here in a little bit. But you're also doing some things in addition to that, like amplifying content. And some of this stuff doesn't have to be exactly scientific. We were just talking about this with Molly. It's like, get your funnel dialed, focus 70 to 80% of that, and then start doing these other things. How can I create more value? How can I use a testimonial video to get that message out there, to get that to that 7, 8, 9 pieces of touches that people need before they make a purchasing decision. So that's what the 9-step funnel is all about.
And I think today what we're really going to do is take that 9-step funnel and boil it down to its essentials. Instead of giving you 10 ways to do something, we'll give you the 1 or the 2 that we do. Fortunately, we have clients that we can test all this stuff out on. And when something changes in Facebook, we manage a fair amount of ad spend. But not that we make our clients guinea pigs by any stretch, but when we learn something, we implement it, then we can actually take action on it. So that's what you guys are going to be getting today. It's not theory. I mean, we do 3 million plus in ad spend in Facebook a year. So I mean, there's a lot of ads that we manage. But the point is, this 9-step it's different for everybody. It really is. It's different for each client. It's different for each business. It's different for your business than businesses over here. But we're going to boil it down to its essentials and give you the 1 or 2 things that we use personally. And you might find other things that are better. But that's what you're going to do today. We'll teach you how to do it, and then that's why you guys have your laptops. We'll actually do it.
And yeah, I'm going to go ahead.
So I have a question. When you're working with clients, do you know what breakdown you have in terms of sales you generate, kind of follow-up sequence versus actual conversions from Facebook ads?
That's a great question. We're going to cover some of that stuff at the end of the day today, because it really depends on the system that you're using. We try to do that as best as possible. If you're using something like KISS-Metrics, for example, that we use with some of our clients, absolutely. It's really easy to be able to track first and last touch. If they came from Facebook first, but then they end up being sold via an email 2 weeks later, then you can tell. But sometimes it's difficult to sometimes track all the way back sometimes, and it can get really difficult, and it's not perfect, and nobody has it, I'm telling you, because of the different devices and stuff like that. It's tough, and so that's why it's tough to get that tracking perfect. So it's never going to be perfect, and that comes back to mindset. We've had a couple clients over the years that just got stuck because they were so worried about a couple little things they couldn't get started. And that's why companies like Digital Marketer and Mindvalley, they'll figure out the funnel and then they'll implement, and then they'll fail first and then they'll get it right and they'll keep going. So it doesn't have to be perfect. You want to just implement and learn. So that's one thing that I want you guys to take away from this. It's all about action. Okay. What do we think? 9 times out of 10 we fail with the bidding or targeting. It's all about failing fast and figuring out from your experiences. Okay.
And also, do you do any work with physical products, clients, or just all of it?
We do. We don't have a lot of clients in that space. We do have a couple clients in that space. One of our clients that sells, talk about a little bit later, but it's a good, actually I'll give you this as an example because we got a little bit of time on this section on the whole selling on Facebook. Here's a perfect example. We have a client that sells a supplement. It's the only natural supplement that is proven to increase bone density. So what's that mean? People with osteoporosis, that helps them. So they a lot of times their symptoms will go away, okay? And they have an amazing product. And their mission, yes, is to make money, but their mission really is to help as many people as they can. They have an older demographic and mostly women that are above 50. So they're doing pretty well, but we can use Facebook's targeting. It's unbelievable. Because of Facebook's targeting now, it goes out to not only things that people like, but also like their offline information, like their grocery shopping habits and their income, but also web browsing habits. I don't know if you guys know this, but anybody know a website that doesn't have a Facebook like button or share or comments or something on it? Almost every website today has that, right? Well, guess what? Facebook is tracking all the data from all those web visitors. So a lot of the targeting in Facebook is actually based on web browsing history. Yeah, they've recently rolled that out kind of quietly. They don't publicly talk about that too much because of privacy, stuff like that. Google does the same thing, but that's a big deal. So that being said, we can target people like osteoporosis is an audience. It's crazy. So they have a product that they have like a quiz and stuff like that and a survey, and they've got different lead magnets we're always trying to test. But this company, they sell a $38 product on Amazon. You know what we're doing with our Facebook ads? The majority of our Facebook ads, we're driving traffic directly from Facebook to a product page, right to Amazon. Now that goes against conventional wisdom, conventional training that I usually teach. Like I just gave you the example of you need to build value first, right? You can't just try to sell something. So that probably doesn't make sense to you. What are you talking about, Keith? You just told me not to sell right on Facebook. Well, the only reason we're able to do that is because we're using testimonial videos in Facebook. So nobody comes to that Amazon listing unless they've already watched a testimonial video of a lady talking about how her osteoporosis symptoms are gone. And then there's this massive long comment thread. So some people saying, oh, there's no way, you can't cure osteoporosis. And then you have other people saying, I took it and it works. And stuff like that. So it's just authentic. It's an ugly webcam video. And then they've got like 5 different ones. So we're running 5 different video ads directly to their Amazon page. And it's positive ROI, immediate positive ROI. And then most of these customers buy every single month. It's a continuity. So that's an example. You got to have something of value, and you got to figure out a way to do that. Some physical products, it's not that easy to do. Testimonials are the biggest way. If I find a funnel that isn't perfect, we're working on different stuff with them, questionnaires, quizzes, and stuff like that. But it takes a while to get stuff right. So if you don't have it perfect, use a testimonial video ad, and it'll help. So. Yep.
Will you share with us the name of the company, or is it a secret?
I think when we get into some of the online stuff, we can
Yeah.
show you what's going on. Yeah.
Yeah, great point. So let's get right into market research phase. So this is something that you're going to do step 1, but this is also something that you're going to do throughout the whole process. You're never going to end. You're never going to stop this market research phase. And like Ralph talked about today, our goal is to get you to implement. So we're going to 80-20 everything. I always talk about like there's 6 or 7 tools, and people will always give you these random tools like SimilarWeb and stuff, Follow.net and stuff like that. Honestly, we don't even hardly use those, you guys. We use Facebook search and Facebook audience insights 90% of the time. So that's what we want you to do. And just don't even waste your time with all the other stuff until you're way, way, way advanced, because the amount of data that Facebook has, it'll blow your mind. So basically these 2, all right? Facebook graph search, Facebook audience insights. So we're going to just get online and kind of get in here, and maybe we'll use a couple examples, or should we start maybe in the like Infusionsoft one or the triathlon? What do you think?
I'll just go. Just do graph search.
Let's go to graph search.
I mean,
first.
there's a million different ways you can do research. And I'm not saying that these are the only 2 that we use, but these are the 2 that we use. I use Audience Insights probably more now than I ever have. And I think it's a really powerful tool. When it first came out, I didn't really think it was all that great. But we also use Google, and we use Amazon. Great old Google search. It's like some of your best research. You know, 20 best business books I was looking up the other day for a client. You know, because he sells a business book, and I wanted to have a campaign like that. Could have done that in Audience Insights. I did Google search. I also went on Amazon too. So it's all kind of together. But if you really boil it down, I mean, these are the 2 most powerful things that are on there, and they're coming from Facebook. So let's not forget that. You guys are, you're not advertising on Google. Google might give you a list of 20 great books, but Facebook will tell you. But they'll also tell you that that's an interest that you can then target too. So we'll show sort of how that works.
Yeah, so remember, if you're doing this, start with this, write this search down. Pages liked by people who like. This is the best one to use. And then you can, of course, you can double up. So you can do pages liked by people who like Infusionsoft and dominate web media, for example. Okay? And then it'll show, Perry Marshall. Makes sense, right? Get 10,000 fans. But beware, not really beware, but just realize that they try to personalize this. So this search that I just did might show up a little bit different for Ralph or a little bit different for Jamie, okay? Because they kind of try to personalize it a little bit. That's why you'll see the bottom line. Ben Croft, Matt Williams, and 310 other people like Perry Marshall. So they'll show kind of like it's a little bit, but they're getting better and better at this. So this is one that you're going to want to really start with. People who like, pages liked by people who like, let's see, triathlons. And then what we do is we create a Google Docs spreadsheet. Raise your hand if you use Google Docs. Okay, almost everybody in the room. So, actually, in a second here, we're going to create a Google Doc, but let's just go into this a little bit more, and then we're going to have you guys go to work. Okay, so then you can just start scrolling down. Okay, the goal of this at first is to brain dump, get as many possible interests as you can, then start taking the stuff into Audience Insights, then start to run some ads, look which ones are kind of working best, then get back in here and start using Audience Insights, and we'll show you what we mean here.
So this one right here, we have a triathlon client. We'll show you some of their stuff, how we're advertising. But their top 3 targets, actually in a group, actually 4 altogether, are these top 4.
So they're
That was my
good.
market research. Sorry, I mean, I wish I could say I took, 17 hours of
We're getting dollar
I was
leads,
in the
and,
chemistry lab all night long.
and we're averaging
This.
dollar leads and then more cold traffic. Dollar per
Dollar
opt-in.
leads.
Yeah.
Dollar leads.
But this is just step 1, right? You got to get the lead magnet right, and you got to get all the other stuff. The bidding.
Yeah, but we'll show you that campaign because I think it's a good one. And plus, I think we kind of got lucky on it a little bit. But, it doesn't always happen that
Never.
way. We'll show you our failures too. Because 9 times out of 10, on this one, we did 3 campaigns. 2 of them are killer, 1 wasn't so good.
One thing to think about though here is, depending on your market, of course we start with broad, right? But then, the good thing about this is it starts to do this for you. But start to think about what magazines and what products that people, the diehards in your industry are using. That's why, for example, like internet marketing, Infusionsoft is a great audience because Infusionsoft is a CRM and it's for advanced marketers. So it's a great audience for everybody that sells how to scale businesses, Facebook ads, stuff like that. Of course, Ironman USA Triathlon is way better than just triathlons as an interest. Triathlons is too big and broad. We typically will do that if it's overlaid with like a lookalike audience, which we'll get into later. Some of you guys already know what that is, but basically you want to start thinking about what really hardcore. So if it's like weight loss or fitness, you don't want to target like The Biggest Loser, right? The Biggest Loser is all about weight loss, but guess what? It's a network television show. So you got so many people that like that don't actually might not be diehard fitness people. So there's a lot of different, you want to get down to that. But the thing is Facebook Audience Insights and Facebook Search helps you do that. So, but when you're starting to run your ads, stay connected. We'll get into more targeting stuff. Well, we can talk about that a little bit more now too. But when you're starting to get into your ads, triathlons at the top there is an audience, but it's very, very big. So USA Triathlon, Ironman 70.3. That's why Ralph was saying all 4 of these here, he combines into one. But if you would have added triathlons into that, which there's some ways you'll do that, but then it's going to be really big and almost too broad to start, especially at the beginning. You start out with these really hardcore audiences, but however, we're starting to combine those now. 3 or 4 months ago, what we would say is separate every ad set out by a different audience. Okay, you want to explain this a little bit more and why it's not perfect, but kind of what we're doing right now. And we can touch on this. We're going to get into that later, but we want to touch a little bit this now.
Yeah, I think it's important. I think you have to think about when you're trying to figure out your targeting, think about the intent of your customer. That's why when you're talking about your why are you doing this? Like if you're selling an educational product to triathletes, this is going to be a good interest, don't get me wrong, but an even better interest, a campaign that's really doing well, because they're selling an educational product for triathletes. So, if you want to be educated, if you're interested in actually furthering yourself, instead of just liking this, maybe something like a magazine that triathletes read. Maybe it's equipment that they use.
Yeah, but a certain type of equipment that's helping them take their performance-based equipment.
Maybe it's an app.
So
There's a triathlon app, I don't even know if there is, but it's actually cool. I should write that one down. But think about that. Somebody who has an app for a triathlon is like a hardcore triathlete. It's like, you know, if you have, and Molly Pittman uses this, and I think she mentioned it on her Black Friday webinar, is that if you have a golf product, targeting Tiger Woods or golf probably isn't the best target. Yes, you are selling golf stuff. Maybe it's a, you know, how to drive 350 yards like Keith Grant's. I usually go to the woods. But that's too broad of a target. So you want to dig a little bit deeper into that. Maybe somebody who has a golf app or reads golf magazine, or, you know, and we'll talk about this. We'll go
Dave
into audience
Pelz.
insight.
Dave Pelz is he's the Dave Pelz putting Bible. He teaches chipping and putting. I target people like that, not just golf, you know. So, or Golf Channel. Golf Channel's too broad, but you could target Golf Channel overlaid with a lookalike audience based on your customers,
Which we'll get into.
which we'll get into. You can do broad-based targeting, but you don't want to start broad-based targeting unless it's overlaid with a lookalike audience, which we're going to get into custom audiences later. Some of you guys already know what those are, but that's really game-changing. So,
Why don't you just do one for somebody, like whatever their business is, just on that, just so we can show them.
yeah, sure. So, who wants to use your example? Somebody call out your type of business. Who wants to do it? Go ahead.
I've got I sell martial arts instructional videos, and I've got a new wrestling product.
Right.
It's a really great product for wrestlers. And so I don't want people who just like wrestling, because that's, you know, what's the WCW, you know, and
Yeah.
I'm talking about collegiate wrestling,
Yep.
you know, so
Yep.
it's different. But it's a big sport.
Yeah. So then, basically, those guys probably have. They might have organizations. Sometimes can be so. Like, let's pick one of the the collegiate.
NCAA would be,
What's that?
NCAA would be one that has a big wrestling circuit.
Yeah, but that's not going to be because unless they've got like an NCAA wrestling type of thing, which they might. Right here, 323,000 likes. That might be perfect. So right here, that's too low, but let's do this one. Pages liked by people who like NCAA wrestling. Now you can start to get some ideas. Boom.
Yeah.
Just by doing that alone. And you know what? You can even start with wrestling and see what they come up with. And then it's down here and then pull some of these ones. But like USA Wrestling, you know those guys? How about 1, 2, 3? Whoops. Let's do
Well,
that.
actually, let's kick that one for a second.
Okay.
Because out of all these are broad, but then let's go down here. Don't you think a guy who...
So Ty Watterson
or
likes this.
A girl?
Hardcore, yeah.
That's hardcore right
Yeah.
there. So there's a difference between this, I don't even know who that guy is, but
Yeah.
wrestler, I assume? Maybe a wrestling coach. The more specific, so as you scroll down,
I know this is Ty Watterson's a good buddy of mine. He was a national champion wrestler. He wrestled for Oregon State. He likes this. This is probably a pretty good. And you can see the cool thing is if you already are into this personally, into your whatever business is, you might recognize people or other that you're friends with on Facebook
scroll
that
that
like
down
it.
just a little bit. I don't know who the guy, well,
Randy Couture.
Randy Couture.
That's another one though. The Randy Couture. You know, this is going to be probably starting out too broad because he's famous. So you got random people that aren't diehard, right? Wrestlers that don't want to train. That I wouldn't do Randy Couture. That might be something when you're starting to scale, and you might do Randy Couture overlaid with your lookalike audience based on your leads or your customers.
What's the wrestling magazine? Is there a wrestling magazine?
This is brand new for me, so I'm not sure.
Okay.
Alright, now
So this
it's
is a
insights
great
here.
exercise for you then, because you just want to start doing it. Let's go to Impact Wrestling. WWE. So this is a lot of big ones here, but what I would do is I would do something like this. People who like NCAA wrestling, and what was the other one that we had? USA? Was it USA? The one at the top? No. Yeah.
What does that do? Is that inclusive?
Yep.
Both this and that?
Yeah, and so sometimes this is tougher to do, like in the audience insights, it does, but there's sometimes this works better in this than it does in audience insights. So there's some things that are better here than audience insights. There's other things about audience insights which we're going to show you that's better than this. So you really want to always be using both.
Is it an educational product?
Yeah, it's videos. And that flow wrestling one.
Flow
that's
wrestling's
what they do.
perfect, right? I bet.
Keith,
Right? What's that?
is that and or?
No, this is and. So in this case, what you can't do in the ads manager yet, unless you use Ad Espresso,
Coming up.
it's coming, yeah. What you cannot do in the ads manager is target like this. But in this search research phase, you can. So in this situation, people that like Flow Wrestling like NCAA wrestling and USA Wrestling both. That's why we love search, because then you're finding like the real ones. So we can even do this and Flow Wrestling and get really good ones.
So you're drilling down from that Tiger Woods analogy. If you think about your target, think about Tiger Woods. I'm in golf. Oh, Tiger Woods. Right. No. I'm in weight loss. Oh, Biggest Loser. Right. No. Those are people. Those are entertainment figures. Those are TV shows. It doesn't show intent necessarily. So the more of these smaller interests, I mean, you might try wrestling just in general.
Yeah.
Probably test it anyway.
Yeah.
But like some other tactics we'll teach you a little bit later. But I mean, the ones that are smaller and more precise and show that intent, depending on what your product is. You know, if you're, like I said before, if you're a triathlete and you're looking to get better, you're going to be reading triathlon magazines not because you're entertained, but because you want to improve your timing. You want to improve your time. You want to get faster in the run, bike, swim, whatever it happens to be. So think about that, and that's why these and searches are really, really powerful. Because you can get an interest that has those three components together as one interest. You can't combine that as of yet in the ad manager. We'll show you what I mean.
You guys know what he's talking about there? Not shake your head if you're a little bit confused there.
There's tools that can do that.
Okay.
There are.
D-strings?
So, okay, so basically what Ralph is saying is that in the ads manager or the power editor, when you're running your ads, at this point, you cannot target somebody that likes NCAA wrestling and USA Wrestling and Flow Wrestling. What it does is it combines them all. So if you combine NCAA Wrestling and USA Wrestling, then the audience size gets bigger. So you're targeting people that like NCAA Wrestling or USA Wrestling. So it just gets bigger. So you might have, let's say, 500,000 people that like NCAA Wrestling, and then you add USA Wrestling. So now your audience might go from 500,000 to 700,000 instead of going down. Okay. However, there's one software that we recommend because they're a PMD partner with Facebook. I just said it a second ago. Now I just forgot. What? AdEspresso, yeah. So AdEspresso is a software that you can use, and you can actually do overlay targeting right now. It's a paid service, and it's not super cheap.
If you're a little bit more advanced, that might be something that you want to check out. But for right now, I mean, the stuff that you learned today. We've tried a lot of third-party services like Quia, AdEspresso. We keep coming back to Facebook because the platform's getting better and better and better.
And they will have it, trust me. It'll be available.
Yeah.
You'll be able to do it. I've been saying this for a year and a half, and I haven't done it yet. But now that I see it in AdEspresso and stuff, now I know it's coming.
Yeah.
Because that's a big deal.
Facebook doesn't want one of their partners having a feature that they have.
Yeah.
Trust me. You know, Zuckerberg.
So.
The Zuckerberg ego again.
But a lot of software companies, I'm going to digress here, but a lot of software companies have like blown up for a minute because they have something that Facebook doesn't quite have, and then Facebook rolls it out, and then they're just boom. So yeah. Anyway, so should we go into the audience insights? Check it out.
Yeah, let's do that.
Okay, so raise your hand if you haven't really used audience insights before. Cool. So we probably got a third, a half people. And we weren't using it that much until, in the past few months, because some of it.
Show where it is.
Yeah, great question. So if you're inside the ad manager, on the left side over here, okay, see my mouse? You're going to click on Audience Insights right there. Okay, that's where it's at. Click on that, it's going to take you to here. So basically, you can do things like, let's go ahead and put Infusionsoft.
Yeah, this is, if you're running ads, let's say, like this is something we actually did. This is, actually setting this up, but this was just so happened to be a really solid interest for a client of ours. So how can we scale it and get cost per lead even lower? So obviously Infusionsoft, we were trying a bunch of different things. How many campaigns have we tried in that campaign and failed? Hundreds, guys. But the client's still with us, thankfully. But we figure out stuff and get better and better as we go along. So, but in this particular one, Infusionsoft is one that's really working well with a couple of other sort of overlays, which we'll tell you guys about later on. So once you do this one, oh, you got it, okay. Then you click over to page likes. So you put in your interest. This could be your interest. This could be maybe something that you found on Graph Search, just a general interest, whatever your business happens to be. Plug it into that, little additional interest down here. And then all of a sudden you get, scroll up to the top. Most of this right here, this is like the 90-10. Demographics, location, activity, household purchase, forget all that. Don't worry about it. Two things on this page are the best parts. Page likes, and look at what comes up. Look at that first line.
So it's showing affinity data. It's showing other pages that people like that are that like Infusionsoft. Now the great thing about Audience Insights is you can also upload all your custom audiences over here. So on the top here, I can use one of my custom audiences. So for example, I can add customers, book buyers, okay, and I can start doing some of that. We're not going to do that right now. So let's go back to this.
So I've got an interest that's doing well, and it's Infusionsoft. What do you think my next targeting group is going to be, based upon this oh so complex market research? Yeah. So that's exactly what we did. So I used to say, well, I'll do one for Marketo, I'll do one for HubSpot, I'll do one for Hootsuite. I bunched them all together. I did an overlay, which we'll talk about a little bit later. And now it's getting cost per lead less than Infusionsoft.
Okay. Now notice that's something, for example, that we've been talking about, and a lot of people will teach to separate these out. Because a lot of times, if you can separate out, Hootsuite, HubSpot, Marketo, and Infusionsoft into different ad sets, then you get a better idea of what's converting, right? So you got to remember what you're trying to do, what your ultimate goal is. If it's brand new and you're really just trying to figure out kind of as a broad scale which interests are converting for you, you might want to separate those out. But honestly, when you're using this, this is telling us, this is what people like, okay? But we found when you're starting to use like Facebook's optimized bidding, in a lot of cases, bigger audiences work better. And so we're combining these in a nutshell, right? Yep. And that's why, boom, 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 put these all together. If you're really testing out and you have audiences that are completely different, they're not like these three, like if you see these and then you see some of these and stuff like that, this might be a different ad set, okay? So just kind of be aware. Shopify, so maybe you have an ad set that's like the different e-commerce platforms. See like BigCommerce, Shopify, Volusion, stuff like that. They might be bunched up together. I wouldn't bunch up those with Marketo, HubSpot. Maybe you're kind of bunching up the similar ones. But once you've been running things for quite a while, you're starting to know your audiences, then you can even test bunching all your best audiences together, like 7 or 8 of them. Because we're going to get into bidding stuff later on, but the more you can kind of hear the stuff, the better, because it's pretty advanced. But with Facebook's optimized conversion-based bidding, sometimes having those bigger audiences and giving them time to really learn who converts, then it can be better in the long run. Not always, though, but that's just what we found. So let's see here. You see that? Can you leave that over here? Yeah.
Do you find that doing this with Audience Insights versus the Graph Search, do you find they give the exact same results? Because I'm getting different results. Technically, shouldn't they be the same?
Okay, so that's exactly what I was kind of talking about before when I said they try to personalize Facebook search. So that's why Facebook search isn't always exactly accurate. That's why Audience Insights is actually like less biased. So you're going to get different data. That's why it's important to use both. So like, if you have a client that has a product or service that has nothing to do with something that you might like, right? Because they're trying to personalize the results with the search. You know how Google tries to personalize the search results? Facebook's trying to do the same thing. So if you're using Facebook search is meant for the consumer, not for advertisers. So Audience Insights is better, but Facebook search can do some things that Audience Insights can't. It's a little bit better sometimes with overlaying, and some of the pages that might not come up in Audience Insights will come up in Facebook search, so you got to use both. And, yeah, go ahead.
Do you think this Audience Insight somehow lets you under the hood a little bit, and it's indicative of how Facebook does their targeting? So for example, let's suppose you put golf over there as an interest.
Yep.
And it's going to show you all those page likes. and then let's say I have a golf product. But what if I had a campaign running out of the ad manager or something where I just targeted the interest golf? Is this kind of looking under the hood, do you think, and seeing what Facebook is going to do with that ad? Am I making sense? Do you see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it would show, for example, that my targeting may be too broad. If I typed in golf and I scroll down here and I say, oh, I don't want all this, it would show that if I had a campaign and ads in the Power Editor, running targeting golf, it wasn't working. Like this would show here that the thing was too broad.
Exactly.
Wrestling, for example, if I do that, I get WWE, and
Yeah.
I don't want that.
Exactly.
And if I would never have known that if I hadn't come into Audience Insight.
Yes.
Okay.
That's a great point. That's exactly right. Now the other thing is,
something out here.
Yeah.
Actually, scroll up a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, this is a perfect example of like how you have to think about, like Facebook will give you the answers, but you do have to think it through. So okay, if I'm interested in golf, who, Cam Newton? Oh, okay. Tiger Woods, probably not a good target. Golf, probably not a good target. But if you're targeting somebody who really wants to learn golf, the mini golf matchup app, I would say somebody who has an app on their phone and they want to learn how to play golf is a pretty serious golfer and is pretty seriously interested about what it is that you're selling from an instructional standpoint. Magazines are another big one because that's intent. Again, think about it's intent. Think about before you start putting in an interest, say, if I'm this person, what exactly is my intent by having this interest? If I'm Tiger Woods, maybe, I don't know, my wife would probably be in that. She's not a golfer. That's like a 5-6 million people interest. But she doesn't know who Rory McIlroy is.
McIlroy?
No.
You're a golfer.
You've seen him play golf, so
He's Irish.
I don't know. Any of this.
My mom loves him because he's Irish. So.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Him and Graham McDowell.
Somebody who is into TaylorMade golf, Titleist, probably not Oakley, because it's not golf specific,
Right.
but you could you could do this for TaylorMade golf, same thing. Once you find one, you can then plug it back into interest and do it again.
Yeah, and you can delete it or you can add it over here. And so, like, especially consultants, you guys, or like Ash, who has an agency, you go into a market sometimes you don't know their audience yet, maybe right away. You're going to give them, first thing you're going to do if you are a consultant, what we do is we tell our clients to do this. We say, hey, go to Facebook search, start doing all this stuff, and we share a Google Docs spreadsheet with them, and so they can help us. Go ahead.
Yeah, what is the exact difference between someone who likes something and someone who's interested in something versus someone? Because I'm getting very different results for the two things.
Yeah, so I think I understand the question. So,
Like when you're doing the targeting, you just target people who are interested in, then it's target. Because I get the connections targeting is the liking, but if I tried doing a campaign with people liking pages versus people that are interested in pages, and the audience in some cases varies a lot.
yeah.
Do you know what the difference is? Because I can't look it up.
Well, first of all, Facebook, that's proprietary stuff. So there's, if they're interested in something, it could be because they like the page. It could be because they browse a website off of Facebook around that. It could be because Facebook partner categories knows that they shop organic, or they shop for geriatrics, or they're a frequent flyer. So the interested in stuff is pretty broad. They won't tell you where they get all the information. So that's why I say sometimes it could be something they like. Sometimes it could be something they comment on. It could be a private Facebook group. It could be anything like that. So and this is categories, you guys. And of course, page likes, you're gonna do the same thing down
Yeah,
here.
this is an important one. This isn't a good target though. I'd actually take this out
Yeah.
for this part. Once you find something, let's say, let's try that one. This is a little bit more specific, this golf is just so general. Click on affinity.
A little bit bigger here.
Over on the side. Over on affinity. This will force rank. This is below that section. So what this will do is this will actually, if triathlons is, first off, if you're either running Facebook ads right now and triathlons is a good interest for you, or you're just starting your search. So either or. Doesn't matter whether you're starting or whether you're just, you've already done it. You can put in that interest, and then down here you can actually see other affinities.
I just want to, just do something here for the screen. It's just a little background thing for this session. So we're recording up here too. We are recording. Okay, so go ahead.
All right, now we're recording. So anyway, so these pages now, based upon triathlon, Facebook will tell you once again who's closest in affinity towards that interest. So you could go to Google and try and find this, or Amazon, or all the other places, similar web, and we all use those as well. But Facebook's telling you, you're advertising on Facebook. I mean, that's why, between Graph Search and Audience Insights, it's so powerful, because they're giving you the keys to the castle. They really are. I mean, they're giving you
So let's
what
get
your
to work.
interests are.
Let's everybody.
Do you have a quick, Mark,
Yeah, go ahead.
quick question.
Yeah.
I think I'm back up to speed. I got thrown off by that Perry Marshall at the top. You just did audience insight into Infusionsoft in general.
Yeah, that was just his
Not a
account.
custom
Yes.
audience from, okay.
No, that was just his advertising account that we're inside. Yeah.
You could also do it, let's say if you've got, 100,000 or 150,000 legitimate fans, on your page. Legitimate meaning one's not bought, by Liberian terrorists and Egypts and all these. Nothing against those guys, they got to earn a living too. But if you've got legitimate fans, you can do the same sort of thing by putting it in your page and get similar interest to people who already like your page. But for most of us, I usually don't do that. First off, when we do an audit of a Facebook client account, it's like Syria, Turkey, Egypt, because they bought likes. So that's one of the first questions we ask as an agency. Tell us honestly, is 20,000 likes? Well, back in 2012, really wanted, I went to Fiverr, But, we've all done it. So that's why we don't necessarily do that. But just because somebody likes your page doesn't necessarily mean they're a great customer. That's why I'm saying, start with those interest targets and then work from there. Because it's a much better way of really focusing your efforts.
And so, for example, like if you start to upload your own lists, like buyers, like in this case, we're starting to upload like buyer lists in here. In most cases, unless it's a really, really large list, it's not going to show page-like data. It's not going to have enough information. See how this is blank here? You can get demographic data, location data, a lot of this stuff over here, household, income, purchase, and you can get some really good information here from your buyers or your subscribers if it'll ever load, because the income usually does show up, yeah. So I can look at, you can get some pretty cool data over here about your customers, by the way, by doing this. So I'm looking at, let's take away, this is prospect. So I think
that's cool data, but
every,
forget it. It's just not, we just don't use that. It's cool to show clients, hey, this is your ideal demographic, which can definitely help. We'll show you in the reporting section, like how we can use this, because you can then narrow your focus to, maybe this particular income range or that demographic, that age, female, 35 to 44, whatever it happens to be. But for our purposes right now, just keep it simple, and then use basically those two parts.
yeah, like this data I'm showing you here, this is more for really other data to figure out. Figure out if you want to learn about the income, maybe for products you're going to create, stuff like that. Not as much as it's not going to help you as much for your Facebook ads specifically, but it can be other, can help you in other ways.
Steve, I'm just curious how accurate the income level. When you look at the demographic and you see how much their income level is, how accurate actually is that? Where are they getting that data from?
It should be pretty accurate actually. They get it from, in Facebook's case, it's from 3 companies called DataLogic, Epsilon, and Inspiron. They're big data companies that have been around for years. And has anybody ever gotten a credit card application in the mail? They get their data from those companies. And they partnered with Facebook, and so they take that data that they have, and then they match it up with your Facebook account, basically. So.
And up until a year and a half ago, guys like us, and gals, did not have access to that data. You had to pay millions and millions of dollars. Axiom is located north of Boston. They make boatloads of money because they sell it to big brands like Walmart, and those are the guys that can buy this kind of data. Until Facebook came around, now you, like the individual person, going back to 7 billion people in the world, 1.3 billion are on Facebook. Now you know so much about, it's almost scary, those 1.3 billion people.
Yeah,
So that's why it's so important to be doing good on Facebook, because you've got a lot of power now.
It's like when the phone came out. It's like that's what Facebook is. Facebook's goal is to like replace the not to replace the telephone, but to be a method of communication. So just imagine when like everybody had a telephone or everybody had a TV in their house. If you could just literally put your message out in front of the exact ideal, like just 10 homes on their TV, or have a message that rang them. You couldn't do that. It's never been possible until now, really. So it's really cool.
And
What's
so
that?
do you create a custom audience from within this interface? Like this says 4 to 4.5 million people. Can you create that audience right now and run ads to it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. See, it says create new here or save. I can
Okay.
every search you do in here, you can just start putting a bunch of different things in here, and then you can save them, and it'll save that as an audience. And you have to use your Power Editor when you're creating your ads, and it'll
Right.
be one of your audiences. So instead of Tony Robbins for an audience, it'll be you can start typing it in under the audiences section. You'll see that when we get to the ads section today, and it'll be in there. So you can, yeah, it's pretty cool. Lots of stuff you can do there. So let's open up your computers and let's create, if you don't already have one, let's create a blank Google Docs spreadsheet or just an Excel spreadsheet. Or if you don't use that, just a blank piece of paper, a Word document, okay? One of those things. And this is gonna be your market research. This is gonna be your target audience. This is gonna be your start, or it's gonna be your expanded upon from what you guys already have. This is a working document. You're gonna share this with your team. You're gonna share this with your client. And then when we start to do this audience research, we think about it as a brain dump. Don't worry about anything. Just put as much as you can, because you know the more different types of audiences that you put in there, the more different types of affinity audiences will come up. So let's just start doing the Facebook search and the audience insight search, and 15 minutes.
And we're going to walk around. Titus, Michael, myself, and Keith will walk around to the tables in case you guys have individual.
If you guys have a question on that, just grab one of us, holler at one of us, and then we'll go from there. Cool. So what you're going to do right now, the first tab is just interests. Okay, that's it. I don't want you to label it or anything like that. You can put interests, and then over time you might start to separate out, kind of categorize those, depending on what your business is. You might have kind of like 4 kind of main core offers that you do. So you might have for us, we might have consultants in one, all the different interests that consultants like. So it just depends what you're kind of trying to do. But for right now, just don't categorize anything. Just start listing out as many as you can, and you're going to keep this forever. So start with Facebook search, and then open up a separate tab. If you don't already know how to do that, create a new tab with your browser. If you're using Control-T or Command-T, we'll open up a new tab, no matter what browser you're using. And then I like to have graph search in one tab, and then like I was doing here, I'll show you guys. You see how this tab here is the ads manager, this tab here is audience insights, and then this tab over here is Facebook search. So you can have multiple tabs up so you can kind of flip back and forth. Do it that way. And then over here, and see this little thing right here? Well, of course my jing's getting in the way, but there's a little thing right there if I can create a new tab. Or like I said, I just do Command-T and it pops open a new one. So, little browser tip.